Hey friends, welcome to All Things Carolyn. Today we're doing a very late in the season garden tour. I should have done this when everything was in its full glory, but you know how it is, things get you behind. So anyway, this is the front entrance to my garden, and I'm going to give you a tour of what we've got going inside. So in the first bed here, we've got some cherry tomatoes. We have some yellow currant cherry tomatoes. And these are called honey drop. They're this beautiful, doesn't show on camera, but a beautiful kind of peachy color. And they've got a really nice fruity type flavor as far as a tomato goes. On either side of the entry beds, not my best choice of placement, are these litchis, L-I-T-C-H-I. They are completely covered in thorns. The entire plant is thorns. But I wanted to try something different, and these are definitely different. They're said to be like a cross between a tomato and a cherry. And I'll show you what one looks like when it's ripe. This covering here completely peels back, and you see just the fruit. I have tasted one. It wasn't anything special, but something different, and I grew it. And then this was the zucchini bed, which that has passed its season now, but I have a tomatillo in there, and I have my goji berries growing on the fence. This bed here has painted serpent cucumbers and Jamaican burr cucumbers. So we will look at the Jamaican burrs. They live up to their name. They have lots of little spikes on them, but you can, brush them off. They can get under your skin a little bit, but I'm going to pick a couple jars of them. It's a very prolific, as you can see, it's taken up this whole bed. Very prolific plant. And then over here we have green tigers. These are gorgeous. They've got a beautiful lime green and yellow stripe. And we have chocolate pears. These are also quite beautiful. They're beautiful on the stem, as you can see, and it's a beautiful fruit. Has a nice chocolate cherry color to it. And then over here, if I can get in there, we have some golden cherry tomatoes. Got lots of picking to do. And then let's see, this one was called Speckled Roman in the package. Clearly it is not a Speckled Roman, but when this fruit is ripe, it's a gorgeous dark red tomato. This is black Icicle. I will definitely be planting this one again next year. It's a Roma style tomato, and when it's ripe, the flesh is also very dark. It's got a nice tomato meaty flavor. And this is my first year with the cattle panel trellises, and I'll have to say they worked fantastic. This first trellis has mostly cherry tomatoes, although I did plant a Kajori melon on it, which I'll show you in a second. So I definitely overplanted, but it's fine just for me and Mark. So I've got, red varieties on here. I have some teardrop yellows. This is the Brad's Atomic Grape, which, we're all talking about it on Roots and Refuge, that they are not grape-sized, nor do they look like the package, but they're pretty nonetheless. They also get a lime green coloring to them. This tomato is beautiful. I will definitely grow this again. This is called a blush cherry tomato, and the lighting here will not do it justice. This is not even quite ripe yet, but it gets beautiful red striations going up it when it's ripe. It's really pretty. And some larger cherry tomatoes in there. So that's on that side. And then I have some herbs at the bottom. I have some lemon basil and lime basil and some red Reuben basil. On this side I have some parsley and some more lemon basil. And then I have different cherry tomatoes planted on this side. So I have some yellow grapes. I have some red grapes. Kind of hard to see their shape. The sun's going to come through. And of course, everybody's favorite, sun gold. So good, so sweet. And then this is the panel that I have the Kajori melons on. So I think I'm going to get 1, 2. There's lots of other little babies up here, but I don't think they were fertilized or pollinated, I should say. And they're not going to get any bigger than that. They've been staying like that for a while. Oh, and my Mexican cucumbers, I planted them several times this year, and every time I planted them, some little critter would just gobble them up. This was actually a volunteer. It starts way down in there, and I'm very thankful for him. I think I saw one growing on here the other day, if I can find where he's at. So if you're not familiar with Mexican cucumbers, you can see what they look like. But I don't know where he is. Excuse the dogs. Anyway, if I find it when I pass by, I'll show it to you. But they're about this big, little tiny cucumbers that look like watermelons. Let's see if I can find one on this side. Well, here you can see the start of one. See him right there? So cute. They're delicious. I've shown pictures of them in years past. Anyway, so the rest of this bed, I have an eggplant here that the flea beetles got to, but you know, it's still producing. And let's see, where's the other eggplant in here? Not doing well. Obviously, it's very tiny back here. However, this plant is called Melon Pear. I've never grown this before either. It's really gotten quite large, and it's got flowers on it, but it hasn't produced a lot of fruit. It has a few fruit. Down here, I'll show you. So this is what they look like. And when they're ripe, they will be like a yellow color, and hopefully sweet, you know, and taste kind of like a melon tomato combination. All right, so then we have the pepper beds. I have one here and one here. Sorry about the sun. Tabasco plant is huge. It's like 4 feet tall. So that's going to give some good pepper sauce later. I've got some nice varieties in here. I've got, let's see if I can get the sun out of the glare here. Black jalapenos. Thought that was really fun. And then, you know, your normal suspects. Bananas, hot and sweet, and cherry peppers, and cubanos, things like that. And then I've got this really beautiful fairy tale type pepper. And I thought this one was really cool. This is a black pearl hot pepper. How gorgeous is that? Just pretty to look at. Let's see, on this side, I've got these beautiful striped peppers. And it's so beautiful. And, you know, a few other varieties. This is a beautiful volunteer cherry tomato that's also 4 feet tall. I suspect it'll probably be a, oh, let's see, we did get a little color today. Let's see what we got. Yep, red cherry tomato. It's okay. We love all tomatoes. Then this year I also bought these, they're called city pickers. And they're like these raised bed planters, if you will. There it is on the ground. They come up with wheels. And I decided to put all of my herbs in them this year. So hopefully I can move the whole thing into the greenhouse. We've got lots of thyme in here. We've got lemon thyme, lime thyme, pizza thyme, silver thyme. We have, this is a mushroom plant. It's an herb that tastes like a mushroom. There's some Mexican coriander, I've got pineapple sage, regular sage, and I've been drying away and they keep coming back, which is great. And then this year was not a good year for ground cherries. We absolutely love them. Well, I say we, I mean me and the chickens. Mark doesn't care for them. But if you've never had a ground cherry, it's a little paper that you peel back. Tastes so sweet and delicious, and I love them. I grow them just to eat as a snack in the garden. So, coming to the end of the season for the Determinate tomatoes, there's a few still on the vines here. I've just kind of cut everything back and just letting the last bits, ripen up. And then I will pull these out and plant some fall items. This is my dwarf plum tree. Can't quite come back far enough, which needs to be pruned back. Then this bed was the beans, and really not a great year for beans either. I have some Tanya's pink potted beans. I have some purple beans. I have some dragon's tongue on the other side, which I'll show you in a moment. I'm going to probably pull all this out soon and just do another batch, and hopefully fall will, produce a better round. I stick basil wherever I can, because typically some of them just don't make it, and I always want to make sure I have enough. So this is the second cattle panel, and this one has mostly cucumbers and a couple runner beans. Of course, coming to the end of the life of cucumbers, my most prolific this year was the lemon cucumber. I mean, they're just everywhere. I wish it was the pickling cucumbers that were more prolific, but it is what it is. So I have those on here. I do have some pickling. I have what's called a red hamong, H-M-O-N-G, and they actually have a red and green skin to them. And I have my purple pole beans on here. If nothing else, they look really pretty hanging down from the cattle panel. And that's about it on there. So here are the dragon's tongue bean. Really fun bean. They're very sweet, actually. And if you pick them right at this size, about 4 or 5 inches, they're just perfect that size. They can get a little bit bigger. You could still cook this, but it kind of loses its sweetness there. And then I've got blackberries growing on the back. And then this bed, oh, hi Leo. This bed we've got 2 okra. I have 2 Brussels sprouts, which we're going to see if they turn into anything. They've been in there a long time. I mean, they're starting to kind of develop. And then in the middle, can you see Julio? Julio. In the middle there, I have a artichoke, which I was told takes about 2 years. So he said just leave it alone for the first year. They're perennial. He said if you see a flower, cut it off, let it just focus all of its energy into the root. So that's what I'm doing. And then just a couple random herbs here, some mint, some red basil. We'll come back to this side. Just a little bit more of the Determinate tomatoes. Really pretty in the sunlight. These are very pretty too. The speckles, if you can see. There you go, good shot. So I really enjoy, I think it was maybe $25 per cattle panel. And I just love looking at these archways when I come into the garden with my wind chimes, and it's just very fairy tale-like to me. I just really enjoy it. So let's see. So then I decided this year to put some flowers in just to give it some more color. I always do the marigolds for bug protection, but so I put some zinnias on this side, on this side. This bed's kind of petering out. This is another herb bed. I keep the perennial and annual ones in here. So I just harvested all of my chives. They'll come, more will come back. They're so prolific. And I'm drying those. And then I've got lemon balm and all different types of basil. This is a celery plant, not to be confused with celery. It's actually a celery herb. Yeah, just basil is left in there. And then, let's see. I think that's about it that is in here. And so then I'll take you outside my greenhouse, which is a mess. Don't judge. I have my kiwi plant there that says it takes 3 years to produce, so I'm going to be patient and keep it in the greenhouse. And then here's another view. And I'm really enjoying this salvia. It's very pretty, variegated. And then this is my cutting garden on the outside. So I was gifted 2 tomato plants from a woman that works in one of the greenhouses. I've got one on this end and one on the other end. They did not have labels. She just gifted them to me and said they can be surprise tomatoes. So they haven't blushed yet, so we'll see what we get. But mostly in here are flowers that I cut to make my arrangements. And then this year we put this around the greenhouse, and I just put in whatever I randomly found. So we've got some annuals, some perennials. I've got parsley in there. This is a really fun tomato. Of course, I lost the tag, but I'll look on my seed packets. It's a saladette size yellow tomato. Beautiful double echinacea. Hi, Mr. Bumblebee. And then, more tomatoes, some varieties of basil. I really wish my trumpet flower was blooming. This is a cute spot. This plant here puts the most gorgeous flowers. It's not blooming at the moment. They're about 12 inches long and they're the shape of a trumpet. And then, just some pollinator, obviously happy pollinator bushes. Mr. Bumblebee, which is great for all my other things. Another volunteer tomato. Probably will be a cherry, but that's okay. And that's pretty much it. It's been an okay year. Some things have done okay. This hasn't been the best year for my tomatoes. Certainly enough for me and Mark. The upside of that is I've got room for fall planting, so I'll have room to put some bok choy and some broccoli and things like that, which normally I don't want to pull my tomatoes out to make room for, because I love tomatoes the most. So that's it. If you really enjoyed this video, like my channel, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for any of my future uploads. Hope you're having a great day and happy gardening. Take care.